Hey everyone, how's it going, and welcome back to Robot Boy. And in this video we're going to be taking a look at a load of even more new details regarding No Man's Sky Next that have been revealed in a recent Eurogamer article. IGN has also posted some more details on the update, which I might cover in another video, but Eurogamer seems to sum it up all pretty well. And to be honest, by the time I get around to the IGN one, the patch notes will most likely already be out at this rate. I will actually include some of the details from IGN where they see fit into this video though anyway, because they kind of all merge, so it doesn't really matter. But what does matter is the fact that I can't keep up with all of this. Absolutely nothing. For a whole year, we received no information, no word, absolutely zero, and then suddenly we get a trailer, a blog post, interviews, closed door demo details, and screenshots all in the space of 3 days. I'm loving it. Anyway, I can't complain. Obviously I'm not complaining. I would be stupid to be complaining. It's awesome. Anyway, Matt Wales from Eurogamer had a chance to play No Man's Sky Next early, which I'm totally not jealous about at all. For only 30 minutes, however, but within that 30-minute time frame, he found out an absolutely ridiculous amount about new features coming to the game that had yet to be revealed until now. Honestly, all of this information coming out, I'm going to read out all of this information. This is not even the patch notes. So with the trailer, the screenshots, the blog post, and this article, we still don't know the full extent as to what's coming out, and we know a lot. I can't actually believe how much content is coming for No Man's Sky Next. In this video, I'm going to summarize what Matt found out about No Man's Sky Next, so let's get right into that. So to summarize the visual improvements, Matt says that there is improved lighting, there are better atmospheric effects, there is increased draw distances, something I noticed in the trailer, something I was hoping we would get as well. At the moment, the draw distance on the game, although it's pretty good, I guess, you do feel like you're very cut off. The planets do seem to fall away very quickly. You can't really gather a massive sense of scale how big the planet you are on is unless you go into space. So increased draw distances is a very much welcome feature. Obviously, the gorgeous new cloud rendering system he speaks about, we've already seen that. It looks incredible. Improved textures overall. I don't know if that means more textures. I assume it'll mean more textures. Of course, we've already seen a few so far, but hopefully this means higher quality textures as well. Better water, that's all he says, but I assume he's referencing the water reflections, the movement of the water, and underwater as well, how that seems to be generated too. The third person camera, which is obvious, and in fact the demo that these outlets got to play was locked to third person. He says and more as well, so all of that plus and more. So yeah, I apologize if I freak out a lot in these videos. It's just, I'm just so excited, guys. Generation. Now with regards to generation, Matt says there is a better sense of scale that impresses more than it currently does, which that's incredible. More Earth-like, quote, Planetary Generation system. Now he quotes Earth-like in his own article, so I'm assuming that someone from Hello Games has said that the planets are going to be generated to a more Earth-like fashion, which is what we wanted. And that includes, as he now says, mountains that tower above valleys, populated by looming trees. Just generally the scale will improve, and hopefully the placement of certain terrain elements is much more natural and adherent to something that we would see on Earth. Large architectural props, which we've already seen in Next as well. I mean, the trees are larger, but that sort of Marsy looking planet with those huge rocks, that's something new as well. He also says notably improved fauna. Now, we haven't actually seen fauna in No Man's Sky Next yet. We've seen one on the icy planet. That's about it. Oh no, there have been a couple. That's a lie. But the couple we have seen have been creatures we've already seen before. So in terms of any new creatures or how other creatures will be improved, we have still yet to see. And lastly, for generation, creatures feature more nuanced animations, improved AI, and a broader range of sounds. Now, Element 4 that released on the Uplink satellite website confirmed that we would get an overhauled sound system for the fauna, but improved AI and animations for the fauna is great to hear that that's going to be in there too. In terms of starting up a new game, that has seemed to have changed. Matt says the entire opening of No Man's Sky has been once again reworked to make for a more accessible introduction to the game's sometimes opaque systems. Basically, it's being streamlined to make it clearer what everything does right off the bat. It doesn't hold your hand at the moment when you start the game, which I've always loved, but sometimes when you get to a different game mechanic later on in the game, there's not a lot of explanation on it. So hopefully a better introduction to the game will go a long way, especially for new players too. So apparently the main basic intro mission is still the same. The fact that you start off on a random planet, you have to fix your ship and get off into space. That's still the same, but there is much more evidence of the sheer breadth of Next's additions, with the introduction of a refinery, which enables the creation of new resources out of those mined from planets. So a bit more of a crafting system implemented here, using our resources to build something else using a machine. Much faster access to some of the more interesting tools, which I'm glad about. The game, although it was great obviously to grind towards something, I felt it took too long, like just longer than necessary to acquire these tools. Now, not only do you get a ship in the opening hour, you're also given access to the likes of a terraformer, enabling you to shape the Earth at will, useful for carving out spots for bases or escaping a planet's harsh environment. So we might be able, if it's a toxic planet or a stormy planet, to be able to create areas on the planet that are safe from these types of effects and allow a suitable habitat to survive in. That's cool. That's cool. So for example, you know, if we have our base, we can make that area around the base a bit more habitable and not die immediately as soon as you walk outside. If you've got a beautiful grassy lush planet but it's got a terrible storm on it that is just never ending, which has been the case in Atlas Rises a lot, you can actually remove that storm from certain areas, I imagine. Which is great to see. Your first freighter is also now free. That is awesome to see. Freighters, I had never actually ended up buying my own freighter in normal mode. I just felt that was too ridiculously long to get. Again, that didn't even border on too long. It was just way out there. I felt very much unnecessarily too difficult to achieve. You had to get so much money. It was so much of a grind. But now, freighters, speaking of them as well, freighters have been redesigned so that customizable areas, basically a large hangar, can be filled with rooms, are front and center, giving a much greater sense of ownership and personalization. You can also buy up to 50 frigates to put into your Starfleet, which will be visible around your freighter. We saw that in the trailer, all of them warping in. I thought that was just other freighters as well, but apparently they're all ours. That's insane. And each of them can have its own specialization. Frigates can be sent on procedurally generated missions as well, which play out in real time. So it means that you can send a frigate off to a specific system and it won't just vanish, it will actually go there in real time and be there. So if you went to that system as well, you would find that ship that you sent there doing its thing. That's so cool. It's a very persistent universe. Multiplayer is also going to have a procedurally generated multiplayer quest system. You can also mark points of interest for others to see on a planet as well. You don't have to describe roughly where it is anymore. You can actually mark an objective marker, which is just a great quality of life improvement. And you can easily drop resources straight into friends' inventories. Now, base building. You can now share base building. The way this works is the first player to lay down a structure will claim it as theirs. However, any member of said player's party can build and extend at will. This is great, but just be careful who you let in to your party. The building has received a major overhaul as well in general, with a greater focus on construction using individual pieces, flooring, walls, ceiling. The IGN video confirmed that there are over 20,000 building parts now. Room pieces now automatically carve out the landscape, meaning it's easy to build cozy planetary bases underground straight into the rock, meaning you don't have to faff around with the terrain manipulator or load to make the area that you want to in a mountain for your base. The base just cuts straight into it. And speaking of that, you can build anywhere on a planet now, even underwater, and you can have multiple bases as well. The build limit has also been drastically improved. The actual specifics of that is yet to be known, but again, we'll find that out soon, I'm sure. Lastly, the article talks about a live service. Now, this is something that was also mentioned by IGN as well, and this is very, very exciting, guys. This is something that I speculated about before and always wondered, would it come to the game? Essentially, Hello Games are going to be implementing something akin to a live events program in which players can work to achieve certain community goals in order to earn a second currency aside from credit or units that can be spent in a new in-game rewards shop. And this currency, and Hello Games is keen to stress that this is all free. There will be no, so yeah, this is another thing to clarify. There will be no microtransactions in No Man's Sky. Get that in now, that's not happening. This new currency can be used to purchase the likes of, and Matt says, emotes, customization parts, and eventually unique ships and vehicles. That last bit has me very excited. Unique ships and vehicles. Now the ships, I understand. The ships I get, that's cool, that got me excited, but the vehicles bit got me even more excited because there are loads and loads and loads and loads and loads of starships in the game. Everyone pretty much has a different one, that's great. But the exocraft, there's only 3 of them. And we know that we can customize the colors of the exocraft thanks to the trailer, that confirmed that. But unique vehicles, will we see new exocraft as well? That's something I really want to know. And if we can get them uniquely by completing these in-game events, that is a great way to sustain multiplayer. Hello Games have got this in the bag. They've been silent for a whole year, but they've come out swinging all the punches. They're throwing everything they can at us, and I just am loving it. We're going to get everything we wanted and even more, much, much more. And as I say, these aren't even the patch notes. These are just some things noticed by someone who played the game for 30 minutes. It's actually insane just how much has changed and how much will continue to do so. Bear in mind that these small content updates each week are in addition to the large main updates such as Pathfinder, Foundation, Atlas Rises and Next that we will continue to see release as previously done so, except this time hopefully without there being a year in between each release. So that's it everyone, thank you for watching. As always, please leave your thoughts and ideas in the comments below. I mean, speculation is kind of off the board here now. We've got so much information, I don't really know what questions to ask you aside from what are you looking forward to most about Next? I'm sure we're all excited for everything in it, but what are you excited for most about it? Let me know in the comments below. I'll make a video on the patch notes when they release. I'm assuming either this weekend or maybe Monday at the latest, or even potentially we could see them on the Tuesday. But until then, we know so much information. It's awesome. As always, please give the video a like if you enjoyed it, and do subscribe to join me on this journey if you haven't done so already. And with that, I'll see you all in the next video.